Instead of just like giving you the information, I want to show you how I get the information. Show you there's it's like there's a hidden language behind reality. And if you can understand it and then in a way speak it, it influences reality. But instead of just giving you that information, I want to show you how to do that. If you've ever thought that like you're wasting your time, or you're wasted time doing other things, or with a person or with a movie or whatever, basically you're the one wasting time because of how you're viewing your own situation. And Viktor Frankl, he's a Holocaust survivor. He actually talked about finding meaning in everything as a way basically that's how he survived the Holocaust camp. But yeah, so I want to show you how to find more meaning, but also it's a lot more than that. How many of you have experienced like synchronicities where, say, you're thinking about someone and then all of a sudden they call? Or I know a lot of people talk about like number synchronicities where there's like 111 or 222 or whatever. That's one I see a lot. Or here's another one. How many of you think that your phone is listening to you? I know that a lot of people have thought that or claimed that they're listening to you through your phone or your internet or whatever, right? But then how many of you have had the experience where you didn't say anything, you were just thinking about it, you didn't tell anyone, you didn't search it on your phone, and then all of a sudden there's ads for that very thing on your phone? Thank you for the gift. But how many of you have had that experience? You're actually in communication with, there's more to reality than what we see, okay? I can't say exactly what it is, but I know how to do it. So if you could turn on synchronicities, like off and on, would you want to know how to do that? Because that's basically what I'm going to show you how to do. Because if you can read them or understand them or understand how they apply to your life and what they're telling you, and it's just a communication system. So y'all following me so far? Okay, so I wanted to go back to the example where you're thinking of someone, okay? And then say they call or whatever. Think about how you feel or what you're doing when you're thinking about that person. Usually you're just kind of like daydreaming, relaxed. So even if you're doing a task, you're not focused on the task, you're just doing the task because your mind is thinking about this person, right? And it's more like of a daydreamy state. You're not wishing or hoping to hear from them, you just do, right? So the other way that this can happen is, say something happens that causes you to be suspicious. A lot of people will do this with like cheating or whatever, thinking their boyfriend or girlfriend is cheating on them. They'll have, say that there's like a text or something, they don't recognize the number, and then all of a sudden their mind starts going, this whole big long thing, right? Well, like that whole big long thing and how you feel is actually communicating with something like behind reality. It's kind of like how you're manifesting what you're going to experience. And so whenever there is something that comes up fearful, I always say like run towards your fears. Don't try and stop thinking that way. That's like it's not helpful. All it does is suppress the fear that you have and then cause it to come up again later and usually worse. So if you run into anything that scares you, run towards it or look at it, understand why are you afraid of it. Like really dive into it until it kind of like what's that word, where it like disintegrates or whatever. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to turn on the synchronicities. Fried green tomatoes. Can you tell her it's a lesbian movie, please? You know what? I actually don't remember. I've watched that movie, but I don't remember that movie. But, so I don't remember what happened in it. But I'm going to look it up when I'm done on here now, because now I'm curious. Because to me, everything is a sign, actually. So what I do is basically I get into this daydreamy type of state, okay? Now you guys have a great tool that'll actually help you do this, where you can turn on synchronicities basically in your life. You can have it just your whole life be synchronistic, I guess is what you would say. But your phone is actually a really easy tool. And the way that you do that is right now, the way that you use your phone, or most people intend to use their phone, is they get a message, and the message or the internet or whatever it is that's on your phone, it's just that. Like you think it's just that message that means that thing. And instead of looking for more, you just see it as it is. Okay? But if you wonder more about what other things the stuff on your phone that pops up could be, you'll get answers, and they can come on your phone. I use my phone for a lot of my videos because I get answers to questions from the random things that pop up on my phone, like notifications. So I'll be thinking a question, and then I'll get a notification that answers that question. You're marketing it? I'm marketing. What does that mean? I'm not sure what you mean. But anyway. Okay, let me get more into it. Okay, so one more thing. If you guys could like and share the live, that would be awesome, because I would love to get more people in here. Okay. So let me go on to the next thing. So if you guys have phones, right, I want you to try this. Just get into that more dreamy state and like wonder the next thing that you see on your phone, how that is basically talking about you or your life. And then see what pops up, or see what you see. I'll give you an example of this, okay? An example, right before I turned on the live, I was talking about, you know, when I wrote these cards, like just notes basically to start out my live, and on the first thing I wrote on it, see where it says, I don't know, you can't read it backwards, but it says wasted time. And that was the very first thing that I talked about when I got on here. Okay, well, I wrote that on my note, but I didn't say anything. I didn't search it, nothing like that. Then I went to turn on my live, and I had a notification from Dr. K, the Healthy Gamer GG, right? That said, how to stop wasting your time. I didn't search that. I didn't say that. All I did was write it down on my little note card, and my phone was off to the side. So this is what I'm talking about, how it's like it syncs up with you. And a lot of you have unintentionally experienced this syncing. But if you don't know that you're actually causing it to happen by accident, you're not going to be able to know how to purposely have it happen. And so that's why I'm trying to help you see how to do that. Okay, so I don't know why you put Trump in there, but anyway. Does anyone have any questions so far, or does this make sense? Because I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples of this. I need a drink real quick. Thank you for the gift, by the way, Cameron. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get into just the stuff that popped up this morning and apply it to show you how it applies to my life. And that way you can see how this works. And then if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But, okay, so hold on, let me get to where I was going. Okay, so this was my favorite thing that popped up this morning. There was a notification for the Black Mirror Season 7 episodes. Okay, and so it starts out, it's like, we'd like to welcome you back. So for one, like, this is the first time I'm coming on here, okay? Welcome you back. It's like you've been gone for a minute and you're coming back. So I'm like, is that talking about me coming live right now, or is that talking about something else? So see, the questions that I ask in my mind are going to actually be answered in future things that I see. And it happens in my reality all around, but like I said, your phone is a great tool because you have it with you all the time and it's right there. So they said, this is what this video said. They call it mind expanding. It alters your neural structure. Okay. So when you are in this state that I'm telling you about right now, it actually increases like brain activity. Now, I got to tell you, I have this theory that actually it's causing more of those circuits to light up. Now, I went and I had a brain scan done. I actually made a video on it, but they put all those nodes on my head, right? And what I was supposed to do was basically just sit there, and I had to stare at like nothing for like 15 minutes. And then I had to close my eyes and like just, you know, same spot like that for like 15 minutes, right? And they measure all of your brain activity. Well, according to them, it came back saying that I had high anxiety, but I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I have no anxiety. I'm not anxious whatsoever. And I was like, I was actually ready to fall asleep, which made sense because I also had high theta waves. So theta is the dreamy phase right before you fall asleep, like that dreamy, hazy phase. It's the phase that you get into when you're in meditation. Okay. But the reason why they said I had high anxiety was because I had high beta waves, and that's the highest that they test for on this brain scan. But having high beta waves actually makes you hyper aware, and hyper awareness usually coincides with anxiety. But I'm not anxious, but I am hyper aware. I'm not afraid of what I'm seeing, though. I'm not afraid of seeing all of these underlying things and connections and noticing these little weird things that people don't see. It doesn't scare me, but I am hyper aware. But me teaching you this very way to do this will cause you to be hyper aware. If you are thinking of someone and then all of a sudden they call, you're hyper aware. You're like, oh my God, I just thought of you. Like all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what's going on in your mind? And you're hyper aware. Okay. If you start seeing all these connections, if you see, like you're thinking about something, then you see it, you're going to be hyper aware. It's going to activate within you. Okay. So then on this video, it says, the mind is a computer. Suddenly, you're not just more receptive, you're a receiver. Now, to me, this is, okay, I got the chills, see? Because all these connections are going off in my brain. My whole body is chilled. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, first of all, you're a receiver. I'm thinking of, I have a flashback to a previous premiere that I saw, or trailer that I saw, called How the Sunflower Saved the Internet, or something like that. It was about the guy that created the internet, and he took and he drew this box, and he had all of these connections going off of the box, and he's all trying to sell his idea of the internet to these bigwigs, and of course they wouldn't listen to him. They thought he was crazy. You're going to attract, it's like you're going to attract communication, but also this is going to attract things to you, okay? Like reality, people, situations, but there's going to be so much more meaning. Even if you're in a shitty situation, if instead of being like, oh, this is shit, and trying to fix it and everything, you can be like, what is it trying to tell me? What is the message underneath the shitty situation? You're going to get out of the situation faster, for one. You're going to resolve it, I should say, because you're seeing what you needed to see, what it's trying to communicate to you. And I think there is a situation that does come up, because this says sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do. And that's what they said in this video, right? Sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do. And I watched this video a few hours ago. And I also got another notification on my phone, right? I went to the store to get an energy drink before I did this live. And I got this notification on my phone from photos on my phone. It said memories, and it said into the woods. And I was like, another fucking thing, okay? The reason why is because I have all of this information written down about going into the woods and what that means, because my son was in a play called Into the Woods, not last week, but the week before. So there was all this symbolism coming at me about the woods and what the woods meant. And what the woods means, what the woods is there's a theory out there about like going into the unknown as like going into the woods, or the universe, all the stuff we don't know in the universe being like going into the woods. Also, it's like doing it. So, because the Into the Woods play that I went and saw is basically all the fairy tales, and how the fairy tales had to take action and go into the woods basically for their wish or their dream. So like Into the Woods would be me actively on here telling you, like showing you how to do this, instead of me just taking in all the information and just putting it in my notebooks and my cards like I do all the time, because I love being by myself and writing all this stuff down by myself and learning by myself. I don't like being around a lot of people. I'm not super social. Okay. So going live is like going into the woods for me. It's like doing the thing. It's like showing you how to do the thing. Okay. Oh. And then on this video, it says, I just want something magical and timeless. And then it shows this like old lady, or not like an old lady, a young lady, but like in the 1920s, 30s. And she walks through a wall into blackness. And so, like I said, this is like walking into the woods, into the dark, into the unknown, into the universe. This is like it. You're doing it. Okay. And whew, I got so many chills. Like everything is standing up all over my body right now. Okay. Okay, it says, the next thing that it says on here, I sometimes I can't read my handwriting. It says, to them this is real, and I'm ready. I'm ready is a whole nother theme. It says, kids love honey. That's why parents love honey. The sweetest way to start your day. And I'm not 100% sure what that's about yet. But there was this AI robot, and she was, oh, hi from Niagara Falls, Gary. She was standing in front of a classroom, and she was like this robot, and she was talking, and then she passed out. And this is interesting because when you think of like a robot passing out, you would think that it's short-circuited. Like the you know how I was talking about the neural connections in the brain? I feel like, you know, when people people consume a lot. So they can like constantly consume to like, they're trying to find some kind of satisfaction from consumption. So like eating, even when people watch movies, they're consuming the content. But there's a different way to do the same things. Consumption, because it's almost like activate or let you brain dead. I feel God damn. A lot of studies on how that can make your like neural connections basically weak. I don't remember what it's called, but I don't think that it has to. It's not what you're seeing or what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. Because if you're doing it as like I'm consuming, right? You're going to lose connections up here because you're just consuming instead of like the way that I hardly watch a movie because that's a long time. Like for a long time, but I do sometimes. Like I watched Happy Feet 2 with my kid a couple weeks ago, but my brain was not consuming in that I was like making all these connections and everything that I saw. And I sat there and took notes on the whole movie. I was like, oh, that's what that means. This means that. And that means that, because I'm deriving all this meaning out of everything that I'm seeing. And so, and it talks about your life. Like it'll talk about your own life. That's what's the crazy thing. Not only will it talk about your life, but it helps you any kind of questions I have, because I have all these questions about like teleportation and planets and reality and like all kinds of weird stuff like that. And all of this information just comes to me in the weirdest ass ways, like watching Happy Feet 2. I get answers, like more answers, more clues to the answer. Let's see. So then, so I'm going to go to the next thing that I saw on this video. Well, what am I trying to do on here? I'm trying to get a following, obviously. I do want a following on my TikTok and my YouTube and my other, like I have several platforms. Me the following. But also there's something new. There's something new, and I don't know what it is yet. There's something, okay. The other thing too, oh, and then it shows all these little minions running around like they're following you, okay, on the video. But then on the other thing it talked about in that video was, it said that you're going to create something that elevates the community. And so, and that is what I'm trying to do, because think about it. Okay. People, the way that we live right now, people go to work. Hello, Empress. Sorry. Sometimes I can't read the names on there. I'm like, so we go to work Well, I don't, but this is what the majority of the people do. They go to work, or maybe you're a stay-at-home parent or whatever you do, but it's like you think that I have to do this thing. I have to go to work. I have to do all these tasks. I have to have this and go to work. I have to do all these tasks. I have to have this and that and this and that to get this and that. And we sit there and we labor through life and get old and die, and it's like a big chore, and then we just try and find the beauty in the chores. But there's a different way to live. We don't have to live like that. There's so many things that are just so fucked up in this world. Like so backwards. So many things are so backwards. And I see that a lot, especially like with the school systems, because I have kids in school still. I've got 5 kids, but I've got 3 that are in school still. And, but if people could learn how to use this communication system, your learning would change. For one, the way that you learn in school, like the way that people teach school and the way that they learn in school is so backwards. You're trying to force information onto school is so backwards. You're trying to force information onto someone and they're trying to force themselves into learning it. And that's not the way to learn. Like, that's not how you will learn or retain anything. I'm not saying that you can't retain anything. It's just torturous, mostly. For the kids, teachers don't even want to do it. They thought they wanted to do it. They go get a degree to teach because they love teaching, and then they have to follow all these rules and meet all these quotas and all this whatever the hell marks and shit that they got, right? Everything's forced. And then no one wants to fucking do it anymore. Like, and it's just a I don't know why would you want to live like that? I want to make enough money so that I can take my kids out of schools because I think that they're horrible, but it would be better if I actually in some way made a way for them to do it a different way, I guess. See it differently. It's just a big thing. But I see that with a lot of stuff. I'm just using that as an example. Now, there's a lot of stuff on here about, I've seen a lot of stuff about AI. And this video, this trailer is actually about AI robots and stuff. And I'm not sure exactly what that whole message is, but I use AI, like I ask questions. I have AI ask me questions to get to roots of things sometimes. But this shows a lady basically trying to show people information, teach people information, and everyone thinks she's fucking crazy. And that's what I get most of the time, actually. Especially from people that I know, like closer to me. Because they want me to just get a job and live like normal everyone. And I've done all that. I've done it a lot. No, I've done all that. I'm not going back to it. But it shows, in this video, it shows this guy, and like this girl says, well, we're all a bit odd, and there's something about the heart pounding, because she says, my heart is pounding like a drum. I almost feel like the heart is getting in sync, almost like it's alive again, in a sense. But then this guy says, if I would have listened to this woman, and the girl says, you would have heard her? And the guy's like, yes, I would, with exclamation points. Like, I would have listened. I would have listened. And then but anyway, that was the video, and it says, you're a fucking miracle. And then it talks about 6 electrifying stories. And again, that electrifying, electricity, lightning, the neurons firing, it's all tied in to that same thing. Oh, and at the end, it says, because it's talking about it like it's a video game, right? They're talking about them like they're video games. It says, what are video games mostly about? And they say escapism. And the guy goes, no, it's killing. And so, of course, it's Black Mirror. But killing is symbolic as well. Killing and death is very symbolic. I have found that, like, anytime I get angry, like the signs that I get, basically it refers to my anger or wrath as like killing someone. And so I find that very interesting, because even in the Bible, when Jesus was talking about not murdering, he was saying that even if you think it, like even if you get mad at your brother, it's the same as if basically, it says that you'll suffer in hell, basically. But he equated basically thinking, like being wrathful, with murder. And so that's something that I've seen in the signs and in everything that I get. It's like made that connection. It's really, really interesting. But I'm going to probably make a video explaining how to get into how I'm doing this and how to get into this yourself. And I'll post it, but then I'll probably give the rundown each time I go live. What we doing in here? Yeah, that's what I thought. A lot of people missed it. Basically, I was giving it examples, but I'm showing how, like, it's like there's a hidden language almost, is what you could say. I'm just using words to the best way I can describe it, but like a hidden language underneath all of reality, and how you can learn to communicate with it. And so, and I use the example of synchronicities. How, yes, yeah, it is. It's like a blueprint. It's so interesting because I've been keeping track of it. I have like a stack of notebooks like this big with like tabs and shit and everything. And like I've been making cards, like right, almost like I'm trying to see what the picture is. And anyway, what I've noticed though is like it's as small as my personal tiny things in my life, but then also it's as big as like universal. And so what I've been doing though is like I want to show people how they can like hear it, see it, read it, understand it, and communicate with it. And synchronicities is just an example, I guess, of like, you know how when you're thinking of someone, all of a sudden they call. Or you're, I mentioned, thank you for that, Virginia. Thank you so much. And I mentioned how like people will often think their phone is listening to them. And until they have the experience of they thought something and then all of a sudden everything on their phone, like the ads, are for the thing they were thinking of. And they didn't say anything to anyone or out loud. And all of a sudden they have ads for that very thing they were thinking. So it's not that your phone necessarily is listening. This is where we're connected to everything. And there's a way that you communicate with everything and you just don't even realize it. And so what I was kind of showing people how to do is turn it off and on by the state of being that you're in. So like your mind, if you think about how you were thinking when you were thinking about whatever person right before they called, you were just casually daydreaming, like thinking about them. You weren't thinking, oh, I gotta go and get a hold of them, or I have to contact them, or I hope they contact me, right? Because all those hope and half and all that stuff will actually push away the very thing that you want to happen. Actually wanting it like this will push it away. But daydreaming though, and like wondering about someone, it's like that is what calls it in. And so what I was saying is that your phone actually can be a great tool for you to get so much information because you have it with you all the time. And if you're put yourself in a state where you're always like wondering what everything is telling you about reality, who you are, the world, everything. If you're just always in that state of like wondering, that daydreaminess of wondering, not really holding on to any kind of outcome, right? You'll get information. Things will pop up. The synchronicities will turn on like crazy. And notifications on my phone, always something. But it's because of the mindset that I'm in. Like if I'm not in that mindset, I probably don't even notice what's on my phone actually. But if I'm in that mindset, it always connects to my life, my reality, and my future. And so I was giving examples of that just based on things that popped up this morning on my phone. So, does that make sense? I got a couple more examples, though. I just did the one from Black Mirror Season 7 trailer. And I'll go on to this other one. Okay, so I'll do two more, okay? So, examples, unless anyone has any questions or anything. I want to see if I missed anything. Oh, yes. No, I agree with you. Is that Cyrena? Yes, totally. I've gotten so much information too about the ancient intelligence and then ether, fabric. It's like, I almost like, I'm like, I don't know what to call what I'm talking about. But I know in a sense, yeah. Okay. So here's another example. This was another notification on my phone from this morning. It was a North of North trailer. And it says, I'm from the heart of the Arctic. Okay, so one of the things that I get a lot is about ice and what's underneath the ice. Okay, and she says the heart of the Arctic. So there's a heart there. There's something that was buried, like buried in ice, frozen from the heart. So the heart is pumping again. And if you remember in the last trailer that I just talked about, how the heart was beating. Okay, so we got a beating heart. Okay, and then it says that she's, in this video, she's married to the golden boy of the town. So like someone that everyone loves. And I'm not sure who that is, but it almost kind of, from the next video that I'll talk about, it kind of makes me wonder if it was my ex-husband, because it says the accident made us realize that I need a fresh start. Now, these eclipses, there's an eclipse tonight, the lunar eclipse, and then there's a solar eclipse in 2 weeks. And it is about a fresh start. There's something that you're going to let go of and then something that you're going to start new. Now, one thing I actually have been a little bit, worried about this one, and I try and face my fears, exactly, like head on. the reason why I've been a little bit worried about this one is because it's supposed to remind us of the eclipse season of 2017. And there's just a lot of stuff that has tied to that, I guess. And during May of 2017, I was attacked in my sleep the day after I had foot surgery by my ex-husband, and I had my 9-month-old baby sleeping next to me. And he got committed the next day. And like, let's just say the shit really went down. But the other thing is that that's not the first time that has happened to me. In 2000 and, was that 10? Yeah, 2010. I also was attacked in my sleep by my other husband, my first husband. He tried to suffocate me. And I had my baby, who was about 8 months old, sleeping next to me in that same time. So I can't sit there and say, this is, like, I know that they did the action, but that's a pattern in my life. I'm the common denominator in this, right? And so, that's why I felt a little bit worried. I also have to have foot surgery again, in 3 weeks. So, but it's specifically making me look at something like that. And then it talked about an accident. So I'm like, I hope there's not like some kind of car crash or anything like that. But those things happen in life. And if you're afraid of it, why are you afraid of it, right? Look for what it's trying to tell you. It's trying to tell you something, trying to show you something, trying to help us grow and understand and like unfold, I guess. And so this is interesting. It says, I have no ride, I have no job, and no home. And that is exactly me. I have no car. I'm borrowing one. I don't have a job. I can't get one either because I need foot surgery. And I have no home. I'm staying at someone's house right now. And then she says, when you live up north and your life is going south, find a new direction. So like I said, in the previous trailer, it said something about a new direction too. So I feel like there is something new in some way about to be revealed. And then she says, I want to make over the community, make the community a better place. And like I said, like in the last trailer, it said something about that too, about helping the community. And I feel like, I mean, that's spot on with like what I want to do in my life, but I've mainly tried to do it all online, like through TikTok and social media and stuff. Yeah, isn't it? I know. And then there was this last part, this last part at the end of the trailer where she's like, who's a loser now, bitch? And like, that made me laugh because, you don't understand, like I've been shunned so bad, by my friends, family. I'm staying with a friend right now that I've known since I was 17, but like I have a huge family, like, and like I can't stay with any of them or my friends. My friend that I'm staying with now, like, we've been friends, but we don't hang out a lot because she's got a family and she works and all that stuff, you know, but she's letting me stay here at her house. So interesting, right? Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, so then the other thing that popped up, we're gonna go to the next one. This was actually a channel I'm subscribed to on YouTube. It's called SciShow. I don't know if any of you know about it, but it's called The Mysterious Disappearance of 10 Billion Alaskan Crabs. Okay? That's funny. Okay, so this is like a little documentary video, right? But it's still gonna apply to my life. Watch this. And this just was published today. It said, so between 2018 and 2021, 10 to 47 billion snow crabs disappeared into the sea. So I think back, what happened, and see how this applies to your life too. What happened between 2018 and 2021? Okay, for me, that's when I got divorced. I was in school getting my master's degree. In 2020, I was raising 6 kids by myself, getting my master's degree and working full time. And then in January 2020, they didn't give me $7,000 of my student loans. So I had to work more. Then my grades started falling behind. And then they, again in May, decided not to give me $3,500 of my student loans. And so before I lost my mind, yeah, my teeth are real. Why? Look, see? The missing teeth. But anyway, so anyway, I was like, fuck it, I gotta quit school. I was 4 classes away from having my master's, so I had to quit school, okay? That dream, I was going to get my PhD. I wanted to be a professor. That was what I wanted to do. That dream was gone. So look at all these dreams. So I'm seeing like snow crabs, but I'm seeing like dreams disappearing. So like I was married. I had like what I thought was the perfect marriage to the perfect husband. Then all of a sudden, I'm getting divorced, okay? And then all of a sudden, I have to quit school right before I'm done, okay? So there goes that dream. And then, since I didn't get that $3,500, guess what? I can't afford my fucking house either. And so, and I was about to lose my goddamn mind because all I was doing was doing. And so, I quit school. And then I couldn't afford my house, so I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go homeless. Well, it's summertime, I'm gonna go camp for a couple weeks, or a couple months, right? So that's what I did. I went and moved into a damn tent. I only took 4 of my kids with me. The other 2 were old enough, they got something, other situation figured out. I was like, fuck, we'll just go camping, right? That's what we did. Well, let's just say it was one thing after another, one thing after another. Yeah, I lost my car, and then I had to let the dads take the 3 younger kids. The 4th one was an adult, so he figured it out too. Finally, he became an adult, I should say. And then I had to let the dads take the kids because I had no car, no home, and yeah. But anyway, I lost a ton of dreams during that time. Also, I ended up falling in love with this guy in 2020, which turned into a nightmare. So there's that too. Okay, so I'm just seeing all these dreams disappearing. That's what happened to me during that time. So it says that they wondered if they were like stowed away in the depths of the sea underneath the ice. Okay, so it's like, what could have killed them? And then it's like talking about different things that could have killed them, like becoming cannibals and eating each other, or if it was like an act of God, or like, why the fuck is all this shit happening to me, right? Or could they have they gotten this disease, and this, listen to this disease, it was called bitter crab syndrome. Now, when all of this stuff was happening to me, I became a raging bitch to people who basically tried to tell me to get it together, because like they didn't understand the extent of everything that was happening. And so that also is a connection. But it says that what they actually disappeared from was that they were starved to death. It got too hot, so it heated up. Now, when anytime there's something saying like something's heating up, it means pressure. Like, it's like the tension, the pressure to perform. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, there's just so much on you, right? So it heated up, and they didn't get enough calories. And calories is nourishment. So it's almost like you weren't getting, it's like basically saying that the nourishment that I needed, like, which for me would be emotional nourishment, right? And then for my dreams or wishes to basically become crabs or become alive, I guess you could say, they had to be nourished as well. So it's like all of this nourishment was lacking because the heat got too hot. Okay? So now we come back to now, 2025. It's saying that all of those dreams that I didn't get, that were taken away from me, those crabs, it's saying now you need to fix it. That's what the message at the end of it was. Now we need to fix it. Now we need to bring the crabs back. So now it's saying, pulling all of these dreams that were lost, that you would still like to bring into fruition, fix it, make them happen. But anyway, I know that some of you probably jumped in the middle of this, but does anyone have any questions as to what I'm talking about or why I'm talking about this? Ouch. Sorry, I just hurt my elbow. Do, 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 do. Well, awesome. How much of the, let's see, hard to see your name. It really is. That's the thing, is that, okay, so like I lost everything during the last like 5 or 6 years, right? And I am so freaking happy. Like, I have never felt this good and this happy. Like, I would not take it. I would not go back. I would not go back to how I was living before this. Even though I don't have a home, I don't have a car, my kids don't live with me, I would not go back. It's like, I just want to go forward. It doesn't mean I won't get anything back, for instance, like I could. My hair is real silly. It's actually my real hair. Thank you so much, Gavin, for the gift. But the synchronicities, I was going to ask, were you here for that part where I was telling you, like, basically how to turn on the synchronicities? My hair is bleached though, just so you know. It's bleached, but it's real. You can tell because I got so many roots. You might have missed that? Okay. I'll explain it real quick for you again. Because basically what I was, see, the examples that I was using was how it was showing how everything in my life is really synchronistic, and the reason why is because I know how to like turn it on, basically. So I'll go over it once more if you haven't heard it. So basically, you know how Like you'll be thinking of someone, like kind of, oh, just thinking about them, and then they'll call, for instance. What I want you to do is just think about how you are when you're thinking about them. Usually, you're just kind of daydreaming. You're daydreaming. You're not thinking, oh, I have to go get them, or I have to call them, or they have to get in touch with me, right? You're just daydreaming, and then it happens. So think about how you feel when you're thinking about them. That's the first thing. Now, when they call, all of a sudden, all of these, like, you're like, oh my God, you're hyper aware. Because you're like, what's going on? Whoa, I was just thinking about you. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, that's so crazy. Like, you're connecting, right? Okay. Now, I was saying that you have, like, your phone can be one of your best tools, okay? You know how sometimes you've heard people say that they think the phone is listening to them? Because you're seeing shit that you're whatever, you know? Well, I want to know if you've had the experience where you thought of something, you didn't say anything, and you didn't search it or anything like that, and then all of a sudden, like, all the Facebook ads are showing you what you were thinking about. Because I don't know if the phone is listening or not, but what I do know is that it doesn't matter. It reads your mind. Yeah, exactly, because everything is connected. That's what I'm saying. Everything is connected. So you can use your phone to get answers for your life, and you can even see the future. So, and I use it as a tool. So how you do that is basically when you have your phone, like if you get in that same kind of daydreamy state where you're wondering about things, you think about things, you have questions about things, and instead of looking at your phone like it's just going to tell you, oh, I got a message from Sam or whatever, or like the weather today is going to be this, like instead of looking at just like that, wonder what it's telling you about yourself, your life. And it will. Like it will, seriously, like every video you watch, every ad you see. One time I got okay, listen to this one. This is a really good one. Over Christmas, okay, it was like 3 days before Christmas. It was on the Sunday before Christmas. I was trying to explain this concept to somebody else, this guy, okay? And I said, here, I'll give you an example. And I pulled down my phone and I had a notification about the weather. It said, check the weather before traveling on the holidays. And I said, see, look, the weather says I'm going to be traveling on the holidays. I don't know how. I have no money. I was in South Carolina. I had no car. My family lives in Idaho. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to travel over the holidays? I don't know, but watch. And on Christmas Eve, I got kicked out of the person's house onto the street because I liked that person I was staying with. I liked her son. Her son was the one that I told about the weather notification. And she didn't like that I liked her son. So she kicked me out of her house. He's an adult, but anyway. So she kicked me out of her house. And so my mom and my stepdad got me a plane ticket and I flew to Idaho on Christmas. What the hell's going on? Hold on. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's an example. And this type of stuff, it happens to me all day long. Like my entire life is like that. The part that I have had the hardest time with is anything that I want. Because when you want something like, oh, I need this, I need that, I want this, I want that, you're actually coming from a place of feeling like a lack, like you have to get it or you don't have it, or yeah, it's like a lack basically. And I know that I still feel that in some areas of my life, and that's why it hasn't worked out for me yet. But I know that it's not going to stay that way too. You know what I'm saying? But everyday things that I'm not sitting there wanting or caring about, it happens all fucking day long. Like the notifications on my phone. I mean, like the signs, people will come up, like when I was working in Yellowstone, I remember people would come up and I'd always read the stuff on their shirt because the stuff on their shirt applied to my life. It's so fun. That's the thing, is like one of the things that I love about this is it makes life so fucking fun, because it's like you're in a video game. And my friend that I'm living with right now, I'm trying to remember what I was telling her. Oh, I was talking about the corn. I haven't even made that video yet. I have all these cards and these notebooks. I have like a stack like this of notebooks and like of information, because I get so much information and I'm always writing it down, and then I connect all the dots and I'm like, whoa, look at this means that. And you know, kind of like the guy in Beautiful Mind where he had like that wall of information. He had all those lines connecting everything. That was the other thing that I mentioned earlier in this live, is that if you get afraid of anything, run toward what you're afraid of. Like, understand what you're afraid of to remove the fear. Do not try to forget about it or just blow it off, because by doing that, you're just suppressing what you're afraid of and it will come back later harder. So run towards what your fear, understand it. Understand your fear. But I was telling my friend, I'm like, oh, this, look at this and that and this and that. And I was like, remember I was telling you about this the other day and I didn't know what corn meant. And then like a few days later, all this shit popped up and told me what the corn meant. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, a day in the life of Sonia, because it's just so different than what anyone would typically like live like, I guess. But yeah. I don't know if any of you have any other questions. I might get off the live, but I'm going to try and go live every day. I don't know why, but you know how when you like take a break from something and then starting back up, for some reason it's like you want to do it, but you're just like resisting it for some reason. So, but I'm going to have examples like this often, like I do all day long. But I'll go ahead and let you guys go. But remember, if you want to, follow the channel. You can get notifications when I go live. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, okay? Thank you.